Ready, compadre?
This mic smells really good.
It's too close to your mouth like that.
It's not.
You're holding it too close to your mouth like that. Look
Like
how I'm
this?
holding it. Look how I'm holding it.
How's this?
That's better.
That's exactly the same.
It's better now.
Shut up.
It was worse before. Now it's better.
It's the same.
Come with me if you want to podcast. That's right. It's When Will It End, the movie podcast where we watch a whole series of movies and we tell you why what you thought was a good movie was in fact a piece of shit. I'm Josh.
I'm Charles.
We're in the midst of our Terminator series, which many call Die Hard of the land. It's like Die Hard, but on land.
There are some buildings.
There's some buildings.
And Die Hard does take place in buildings.
Taken buildings, and there is motorcycles and...
Yeah. I mean, if you showed maybe scenes from Die Hard and Terminator 2 to the average passerby,
they might actually not be totally clear that they're not the same movie.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
So maybe it's the Die Hard of the Die Hard.
It's the Die Hard of the Die Hard, but with Rubbits. And in this movie, wow. Remember in the last movie, Charles, we said, oh, this movie's, what if the robot man was our friend and did funnies? We were like the biggest.
I did say that, didn't I?
The biggest problem with this ice cold masterpiece that's chilling and upsetting and dark and really this like window into a nightmare that seems all too real. What if there were more sillies in it?
Oh wait, I remember another thing I said.
Yes.
What if this movie that almost like so gracefully and subtly talked about toxic masculinity and violence had voiceovers that explained it to me? Well, that would be way better, wouldn't it?
I think it would. Yeah, you did say that. What if there was a lot more explicit explanation of what's going on in the movie as it happens? We also said in the last movie, people aren't talking enough. People aren't saying things that are happening as they're happening as though we were children.
Yeah, it's so quiet. Well, it might have been made in 1926.
He got in the car. He's in the car. He got in the car. They're in the car now.
Get out of the building. It's going to blow.
Get out of the building.
Get out of the building.
It's going to blow.
This is When Will It End? That was a little preamble.
We saw Terminator 2, and here's our hot take.
We're diving in.
Fuck you if you're listening. Fuck you. This
James,
movie is bad.
Fuck you.
It's a bad movie.
You know what? We should make we're going to make a wiki for our podcast.
Okay.
And it's going to have a fuck you list. And every single person we said to fuck off.
Wow.
And James, you're on the fuck off list.
Right, because this movie is like agonizing because you see what it could be. And
yeah, there's Terminator. We watched it already.
Right. I mean, we have like the fucking chrome skeleton of the movie we love adorned with stupid horse shit that drives me crazy. Also, we're talking about things that like were in the first movie that we love that are just completely thrown out in this movie. And one of the biggest things is that like I love Linda Hamilton's performance in this. You're not as big a fan. I understand that. But in that movie, like despite all of the men who fail her, she like overcomes this herself and survives on her own merits and gets through the movie like with her own, she's not a superwoman. She's someone who like figures it out as she goes along. And at a point where she's like left alone finally by useless, idiotic men, she saves herself. And in this movie, she like starts awesome and gets more and more like hysterical and useless and like is saved in a really condescending and stupid way at the end of the movie that I really hate.
And in the almost end of the movie too, where she goes to... Anyway, we're jumping around. I feel like we're scattered.
We're scattered
in the same way that a buckshot might scatter into a T-1000.
Pya, pya.
Our blistering commentary on one of America's favorite movies is a little bit unfocused.
Well, I think we're as scattered as this movie feels because the delicate trail of tension... the delicate tray, that's the metaphor I'm going for here, of tension and coldness and all that shit I said before. This upends everything from Terminator. And it really, it's we talked about in the last episode, okay, we're reapproaching this movie, maybe in the context of the series, it'll have more of a place in our hearts. No, it's a fart. This movie sucks.
So I think this is going to be a good way to do it. We could take it character by character.
Let's do that.
That was the first idea. You want to just go with that?
I think it's great.
I think this is why we should never script these episodes.
And
we did it last episode.
Yeah.
Not a great episode.
It's been a failure. But no, I think I like this a lot.
Okay, because every character is problematic. And I think that might be a really good way to explore why this movie doesn't work as well. And we'll probably hit all these topics that we've already discussed. But yeah, I think you want to start with the small fry. You want to start with the big balls. You want to start with
let's start with like an overview of how the beauty of Terminator, the movie, is that things are weighted very evenly at the beginning of the movie. We have two strange men from the future who are appearing out of nowhere. we have, Linda Hamilton who's running around living her life normally, and you're like, okay, this is all going to intersect, but how? Like, what's going on? It's a really deliciously intriguing. This movie opens with Linda Hamilton, at this point relegated to the role of like dumb narrator, explaining all of this massive plot stuff. So similar to our commentary on the pirate lords and the pirate world, like
which we are.
Which
we're
we are podcast lords. I think we've established that. Yeah. But what's funny is that in this movie, everyone's like, oh, Skynet. Like, oh, Skynet.
Yeah.
Skynet is not the first movie.
How many Skynet tattoos are out there, do you think?
I bet a depressing number.
Yeah.
This movie opens with Linda Hamilton going, it's me, your girl Linda. Ooh, there's Cyberdyne, and they made Skynet, and Skynet led to Judgment Day, and Judgment Day was bad, so we've got to stop Skynet. And it's like, we've never said Judgment Day before this movie. It's very stupid. They don't dig into anything concerning like the moral like implications of what that title
the only
suggests.
person they judge is the scientist, and he's like, "Why are you judging me for things I haven't done yet?" And then she does that dumb monologue.
Yeah, and then she has the voiceover too, being like, "He took it pretty well. I don't know how I would take the news that I killed 3 billion people."
And then he goes,
I want to be sick.
God, I want to just litter this floor with puke.
Yeah, I want to litter this floor with puke. So let's. I think we did a great job.
Yeah,
we have to start with Linda Hamilton and all of this.
Great.
She kicks off the movie, like I said, doing this stupid voiceover that's all exposition. Everything that existed in Terminator that was exciting without the stupid explanation is just immediately sucked out of the movie like a vacuum.
Yeah, I'm gonna just briefly say one thing about explanation and exposition, because I don't want to sound like we are hypocrites or forgetting, because the first movie does have an astounding amount of exposition and characters, mostly Reese, screaming at us what's going on. But I think that movie does it in such a way where the character feels he's very vulnerable. I'm going to go out. I'm say that Reese is an exceptional. Whoever played Reese, the Michael Biehn.
Yeah.
However you say that guy's name.
No one knows.
No one knows. Not even him. He just wanders around going, "It's me, the bean." It's me, the bean. His character is so fragile and so scrunched up into this ball of stress and fear that it is totally believable that he would come into this world screaming and being like, "Jesus Christ, there's a fucking robot over there. Jesus Christ, this," and then we already talked about the scene last episode where he's screaming at this psychiatrist as a way for us to really understand that they know the plot's full of holes. So it's on that line. Cameron sort of almost does it, but I think the acting is strong enough to carry it through.
Yeah, and more to the point, the thing in that movie is that we're really worried about these characters.
Great point.
Because Terminator is so upsetting and so intense. They really seem that vulnerable. They really seem that hard scrabble. It's very real. It feels very, regardless of how crazy the plot is, we see people who are from Sarah Connor's perspective, victimized since the beginning of the movie by men. And in Kyle Reese's case, he literally has lost billions of friends to robots. So
yeah, there's 3 scenes.
Right.
Are there 3 scenes or just 2 that take place in the future world in the first Terminator?
Just a couple. We see him flashing back at his dream when he goes back there.
There's 3, right? Because he has
beginning.
2, and she has. There's one in the beginning, then there's one from him and one from her, dream.
Right, yeah.
I think there's 3, and I think that's the perfect number. You really get a sense of how fucking shitty it is to be Kyle Reese.
And it's interspersed throughout the movie to remind us of what he's responding to.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of visual storytelling. There's he does talk about a lot of Terminator related PTSD stuff as well, but it's portioned out nicely that we're remembering things with visual cues in addition to things. It feels like a nice, coherent thing. And again, they're very vulnerable. In this movie, the sheer fact that the cute version of Terminator is their little buddy who's going to help them out of every scrape sucks so much of that tension out of the movie.
Yeah. Jesus.
And also, like I said, there's both too much and too little explanation of Judgment Day, of Skynet. It's sort of all of a sudden these things come up and they just start running with them. And it's hard to feel I know that, I know it's a fucking movie, so if I don't feel any urgency to keep up with this,
yeah, they're literally explaining stuff that we just saw.
Constantly.
They're literally explaining to us the themes, capital T, of the movie, and yet they are not giving us any actual visual cues to understand the arc, to understand the stakes, to understand the characters. They're just telling us everything that we should feel, and this is my biggest complaint of movies.
Well, okay, to go back to Pirates 4, and by the way, goodbye to our character-by-character plan. It's gone.
No, we're still on Linda Hamilton.
Oh, sure, yeah, this is all the preamble to Sarah Connor.
Yeah, we got this.
Lyndall Hamilton. Good old Lyndall. In Pirates 4, they're like, ooh, Blackbeard made zombies out of these guys, and he did all this crazy shit. Do we see any of it? None. So in
Yeah.
this movie, they're like, John Connor from the future, who we see for 5 seconds in
God.
the beginning, reprogrammed a Terminator and sent him back in time to save his younger self. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So do they show us that? No.
You know what they do show us?
What do they show us?
Oh, in the trailer, they show us that Arnold Schwarzenegger is a good guy.
Right, thank God.
So that like whole tension that you could have had for the first 20 minutes of the movie is gone.
It's evaporated from the get-go.
Yeah, like I don't even remember watching the trailer. I watched it as a kid on VHS, but like I even knew. It's just like everybody knew.
Yeah.
And at that point, like, what's the point of setting it up that way if that's what your marketing plan
It sounds like you're talking about like someone from Spotlight. Everybody knew, but no one said nothing.
Dude, fucking
The
everybody knew.
fucking the goddamn priests, but no one said a fucking thing. Fuck.
Can you do your mark for me? Oh, the squints. Oh my God, the squints.
What do you mean? They knew? There's kids out there. They're kids. There's kids in Boston. Wait, there was a Terminator? You're telling me there's a Terminator?
That's a great mark. I am waiting for a Hulk standalone.
Where he fights the Terminator?
No, you should anything just with Mark Ruffalo at the helm.
I mean, whenever I see that head cocked 45 degrees to one angle, eyes almost closed,
But very intensely closed.
talking like this because it's so surprising.
What?
Like, what's going on? What's going on?
He's a dream. He's a fucking
there's a
gem.
Terminator from the future.
I can barely remember what I did yesterday.
John Connor is a kid, but a man. No, okay, so this movie, like, yeah, all this cool shit happens, like, behind the scenes. They're like, let's not even touch any of that. Because in my mind, there's 2 ways of telling the story. And here's how Josh would save the movie part 1.
Great.
Instead of a boring, stupid, like, I'm Linda Hamilton, and here's sort of a synopsis of the last film, coupled with new exposition we've just introduced for this one, which feels sweaty and is annoying. Why not start in the future where John Connor is, like, retreating back, and he's like, it's those damn Skynet forces. They're on top of us. I know they're going to the back into the past, so I have one little trick up my sleeve. They're like, what, John? Tell us. And he pulls aside a big curtain. It's naked Arnold.
Oh my God. Full
We
dick?
fucking got him. Yeah, he's hanging big old dick.
Yeah.
Like, full all the way.
Yeah.
And he says, we've got one last chance, and for that, I'll turn to one of our oldest enemies. Like, there could have been some really fun, campy, like, big intro, and instead they blaze through what is essentially the most important question of the movie, which is, why is he a good guy now? And they just tell us this. It's like,
Yeah, they tell us
very
really
lazy.
Well,
they were so sweaty to get to him being a big, goofy, fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
It's really like a missed opportunity.
Oh my God. I remember in fucking, what year did this come out? 91?
91.
So I was in...
Third year of law school, I think.
Yeah. 7th grade? What? How old are you? I would have been 6. So no, second grade.
I was 1
Okay.
and not in school.
Maybe this was later. I just remember everyone saying "Hasta la vista, baby."
Right.
Everyone saying "Hasta la vista, baby." Not even like Arnold. They were just saying "Hasta la vista, baby."
Well, I mean that's how these things permeate culture. Think about how slowly culture was moving in 91 compared to now.
Yeah.
This shit trapped the entire country for a decade.
Yeah, and
Okay?
longer.
It took 9/11 to smash the curse of
Thank
T2.
God. God
Yeah.
damn it.
People rarely focus on the good parts of 9/11.
That's one of them.
One of which was dispelling the fucking enchantment of T2 over our nation
So good.
and preparing us for T3. So
That's true.
just
2
years after
Yeah.
all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so
All
go
right,
back
let's
to
talk
Lyndall Hamilton.
Lyndall Hamill.
Right. Tim.
Lyndall Hamill.
Tim.
Yeah, I mean, Josh and I sort of disagree. I think we both agree that her character was not good and that most of the lines she was given weren't good. I personally don't think she did anything exceptional. I think her, like everyone fucking creaming their jeans for this character and this actor is, I don't really know what it means. Is it because I honestly don't know what it means. I think she's like screams a lot and
Well, no, here's what I think it is. And I've talked to like women about this movie, and a lot of them see like a woman who's completely betrayed and let down by the system in every opportunity. She's misunderstood. She's denied. She's treated cruelly. She's sexually assaulted in the movie by a creepy nurse.
Yeah, that was
which
awful.
is really redundant and awful. And as you said, adds more cream on the pastry for killing that guy, which we didn't need. Anyways, it's like, yeah, in my mind, like I think the power of the characters that Linda Hamilton plays someone who is like at every turn stymied by men in power.
Yeah.
And she addresses this somewhat clunkily in a monologue I kind of like about like how men build instruments of destruction and understand what real birth is, which is, life and the gift of birth, etc. I actually like that. I think
I mean, it's a pretty obvious thing I've heard. Maybe people got it from this movie. I don't know, but I think I've heard
I don't
that.
think they thought of that idea, but they give her like a moment to talk about the gendered nature of the movie, which I think, yeah, let's put a fucking, this is the early 90s. This is, we're not, this is like a lifetime ago.
But this has nothing to do with her
pop-culture-wise.
acting style.
Oh, I like her acting style. I think
I
of
know,
her
but
as
just
like a John Carpenter, cast person. You could really imagine her being in like the Fog or whatever.
I feel like, like a Barbossa or like that really works because the movie calls for, like, it's a fucking campy pirate movie. These are pirates and they're going crazy and it's like, it works. But this is, I mean, coming from the first one was a fucking terrifying, almost silent movie. And now suddenly I'm expecting a camped out, like the highest we get is the police chief, and he's just like this stone. Like he seems stoned. He's just like, well, whatever, fucking ever. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, fuck you.
So he was like the campiest actor we had from the last one. The only moment of comedy, and it wasn't a brief respite from the action. It really worked. This has comedy thrown in all over the place. I just think Lyndall Hamill is. I just don't think she's a very talented actor, and I think it's probably mostly the role. There's not much you can do with a woman that's like told to be crazy most of the time.
Well, they totally betray her, which makes me so angry. I think you're right. Like, look, I don't think Lyndall Hamilton is like the most mind-blowing actress. I like that she's a character actor. I like the role they give her to play. The fact that they undermine her character on the page, I think, is what takes away from her performance, because she's given less and less interesting shit to do.
Yeah, I think it's just, I mean, I don't know. I'm a man, so you can take this with a grain of salt, everybody.
This can't be good.
But yeah, I know. This is for my specific forums.
Oh, yes, of course, right. The community found online after Hillary.
Yeah. I just feel like Cameron's known for lauded all the time for like giving women roles in movies. I think he just ruins them. Like Sigourney Weaver in Alien, amazing. Sigourney Weaver in Aliens. I don't give a shit about whatever the fuck she's up to. And I don't think she's given any dialogue that's worth her time. Same with this. I think he writes women into his movies, and he probably loves women. He's married 5 of them. I just don't think he actually knows how to convey a story. Terminator 1 was the only one that was like, women are living a hellish life because of the shit they have to deal with men. It's like a perfect little movie where they don't talk about it, they just show it to us.
Yeah.
And then like this is like, he's so much about motherhood and like men being shit, but then he like just screams it into her face. I'm like, yes, I agree with you, James, but
yeah, well,
I'm bored out of my fucking mind.
Like with Ripley and Sarah Connor, he ends up depicting motherhood and mother-daughter and mother-child relationships in a weirdly conservative way.
Yeah,
where it's like this dream goal of attaining a normal life that they're like denied, as if to explore any other version of that would be this like massive. It's a problem, and I think like that's what Newt kind of ends up doing to Ripley, which is a bummer. And in this movie too, like seeing her like even that iconic scene where she has the dream where she like watches herself in a happier life be obliterated by a nuclear blast. It's like it's an indelible image and pretty amazing. But yeah, it's also like,
so fucking
we're like seeing like her, what she, it's not like women shouldn't want that or something like that, but like he makes the character less interesting by tying her to these archetypes that she didn't need to live in the first one.
Yeah. Also, to have opening credits over a burning playground, I love
that part.
I know. I thought it was really dumb.
I think it's the height of dumb. That's why I liked it.
Yeah.
I was like, we get it.
Fucking dumb.
It's not
good. The opening, like literally, it was in the first shot, a girl on a swing going, woohoo!
It's me, Mario.
Oh, right. It was Mario on a swing.
It's Mario's on a swing.
And then it just freeze frame, and then shit's on fire. It's
right.
Like, Jesus, kids on fire.
And you can see, if you pause it, Bowser is laughing in the background.
There was Angry Mario in this movie.
Mario, yeah.
Who was? Oh, he's the security guard.
Yeah, great mustache, angry, salt and pepper Mario.
Yeah, very wrinkled brow.
Okay, well, I think
it's that Terminator.
Oh, that goddamn Terminator.
Oh, it's me, the Terminator
it's
hater.
Me. Yeah. Okay, so you set up something that I think is a nice 1-2 punch. The progeny of her and Kyle Reese from the first film is now the fucking garbage heap at the center of the movie. And like, look, Edward Furlong, we did some rudimentary research. He has had a life of incredible struggle. I'm not trying to undermine the fact that he suffers from addiction. It seems like a very bad thing.
I have a theory.
It also seems like, according to many stories, it is heavily alleged that he has abused multiple partners of his. It seems like he is a pretty rough guy who's had a really rough life and has treated people really poorly, which is to say I feel a little bit better about dunking on how terrible his performance is in this movie.
I mean, they may be related.
As John Connor. You think so?
I think there is a God, as I said last episode.
Oh, yeah, of course, yes.
And he probably watched Terminator 2.
And said, things are not going to go well for this guy. You fucked it all up. It's okay.
You ruined my favorite movie.
A big part of our thing with Terminator, and we've talked about this just moments ago, is how little is said so much of the movie. Like, there's the heavy lifting comes with Kyle Reese explaining his experience in the future, which makes sense.
But you have to do
right.
it.
In this movie,
and they do it well.
We have this little snotty asshole kid who's shackled to all the stupid pop culture slang of 1990 whenever they shot the movie. It's bad. I'm sure it was bad then, but over the course of time, it is not charming. You made a comparison to another performance in these movies from a classic film. Who did this remind you of?
I don't remember.
I'll give you a hint. Oh my God, you're a Terminator? Oh my God, a Terminator. Well, we gotta run. Right. We gotta have the Terminator.
Yeah.
Holy shit, a Terminator.
That's right. I always
Richard
Dreyfuss should have taken the place of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That'd been amazing.
And just had scenes of them screaming at each other about what's in front of them.
I'm the Terminator. Oh my God, I'm the Terminator.
Wait, you're a Terminator.
I'm from the future.
Shut the fuck up and say hasta la vista.
Wait, I say hasta la vista? Hasta la vista.
And don't kill anyone.
It's not good.
I loved it when he screamed so loud and his prepubescent voice cracked all the time.
That was awful.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're trying to say is that like they put an unbelievable amount of pressure on this character of young John Connor to carry the movie and give us all of these insanely hackneyed, sweaty, unconvincing emotional moments with Terminator as part of the effort to ruin that character, who we will get to. But something
Do you think James Cameron gave him drugs on set to turn him more into a bad boy?
Well, you really want to keep kid actors on, you know what I mean? Because like they have short attention spans, so like a little bit of will kind of keep them focused. You know what I mean?
Sorry, I interrupted you. What were you going to say?
I was going to say like the movie can't decide who the main character is.
Great point.
And I think I don't know if we entirely agree about this. What I like about Terminator is that it's ultimately about Linda Hamilton's story.
No, I agree with you.
Right. Well, you in the last episode referred to Kyle Reese as the main character.
I don't think he's. I was wrong. I didn't mean that. I just mean I think he's the strongest performer.
I think he's given a lot to do, and he does a good job with it.
I think that's all I meant. I don't think he's the main character. He's pointless. He's fucking. I mean, he's an interesting idea, but he doesn't like. He basically just is there to tell us what's going on and then die.
Right.
And also,
he represents the stakes, and he's got
a little seed in the seed hole.
Yeah, we wouldn't have fucking John Connor if not for that Stippen scene.
God damn it. We didn't even talk about this. I guess we did a little bit.
Yeah. I think they could cut out of the movie. It's stupid. It's a bad sex scene, and I don't know. Linda deserved better. And in this movie, like they managed to destroy the stakes of the movie so quickly by making the fucking hero of the future, John Connor, a brilliant guy who fights the resistance, be a fucking unlikable little piss who's so fucking annoying the whole movie.
Half the time I just wanted him to die.
He's
like, that's not a good thing for your movie.
Right. Well, I think if the austerity of the first movie is something that you like about it, in this movie you have a little dumb shit going, Jeepers, criminy, we've got a fucking, but like in like the horrible, like, hang 10, bro, dog, we've got a scoodle out of here, or whatever, like horrible 90s shit.
Oh, shit. Oh, he said shit, and wow, what a cool little 12-year-old I am, saying shit all the time.
He's wearing a camo jacket, he's wearing a Public Enemy shirt. This is a kid who's so unconvincing as a little scrapper.
Yeah.
My favorite example of bad casting is definitely Tobey Maguire in Seabiscuit playing a drunk jockey. If you haven't seen it, it's an awful movie, but the casting is truly perplexing, where it's like you got Tobey Maguire to play a mean jockey.
What? He's the cutest little guy.
Right. His fully pissed Toby is like a 3 on the pissed scale.
Maybe they just did it by size because jockeys are so small.
He's not that small.
What?
He's not that small.
He's a hobbit, right?
He's no hobbit.
He's not the hobbit?
He's not the hobbit.
Now I get those two confused.
Pretty much the same guy, Peter Parker the Hobbit.
Yeah, Peter Parker the Hobbit.
Yeah.
Peter Parker and the Hobbit.
I'd watch the hell out of that.
That's a fucking series.
Yeah, we have to make the Hulk and the Terminator first, our Mark Ruffalo vehicle.
Yeah.
But no, so now the movie can't decide what its main character is. Is the main character Sarah Connor continuing her arc from the first film as someone who's living a normal life and is plunged into the hellish reality of holding on to the legacy of the human race? Is it now about baby John Connor who has to confront the reality that he's going to be like living this life that, again, if you think about the plot for 3 minutes, makes absolutely no sense, especially in the most midi-chlorians moment in this movie. We realize that the inspiration for Skynet is the arm that the first Terminator left behind in the first movie, which means that Skynet and Judgment Day wouldn't happen unless they had not gone back in time to begin with, and they only went back in time because this thing had already happened.
That's how cute this is.
Completely impossible.
Josh, the whole series is based on that.
I know, but in this movie, they draw a certain amount of attention to it, which they could have completely cut out of the movie.
That's
by
true.
Not having to be contingent
They really
on that.
did. They're like, who am
Why
I?
not have Joe Morton's character just having fucking thought of it? We don't need an explanation.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, like I think the first one with the kid is a little more like, it's a kid.
Wait, what? Which kid?
I'm just saying, like the first one is like the whole point is that John Connor was born from Future Man.
Right.
So he wouldn't have existed without. But
which is itself its own sort of like, interesting chin stroke.
Yeah.
This one's like, but no. Also, literally, artifacts from the first film are what set up everything else from happening from this point onward. Which is like a needless drawing
the
a beat on
point?
it. It
What's
adds
the point?
nothing.
Yeah.
We already have enough going on in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
So who's the main character? Now, is it Sarah Connor following her arc? Is it John Connor becoming like the man he's going to be in the future? Or is it Terminator, who, let's get to him, they took a fat shit all over the main character of the fucking franchise by insisting that he's now a goofy, slappy, happy friend who's everybody's buddy.
Yeah.
And we see he's like,
disgraceful.
what's pathetic is that the movie ends with them being like, he finally learned how to be human by regurgitating stupid fucking like pop culture quips and asking about crying incessantly.
He learned that he could never cry and not be a human.
What is wrong with your face? That's an awful line.
Yeah. It's a bad impression too. Can you try it again?
What is wrong with your face?
That was better.
Your eyes are leaking.
You got the water. Oh, that was bad too. I sounded French. It's me, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Is it Terminator? I'm here to save your life.
I am smoking a cigarette and eating the baguette, and I'll punch you in the face. Very loud Frenchman. I'm so big lungs in this big body. Give me your clothes, motherfucker.
My body is so big. Okay, so let's talk about how to ruin a character.
Make him French.
One, make him French. Two, in the first movie, we talked again. I'll go back to this word, ice cold or austerity, or like. There's a lot in this movie that rules.
Oh, but Josh, I have a question. Josh,
fire away. Yeah.
This movie is all blue in color, so does that make it ice cold too?
Well, it would be ice cold if it wasn't for the terrible needle drops and awful score.
Oh, that's right. We were going to start this episode off with.
I'm a Terminator, baby.
Wait, I thought we were going to do Bad to the Bone.
I'm just having fun doing like rock and roll anthems about being a Terminator. Okay, so like they give us a needle drop in this and it sucks. You're like, oh, how could you shatter the tone of the first movie? Oh, I don't know. Play Bad to the Bone the second we see him in his leather gear.
Also, make people look at his dick for 2 minutes?
That was fine.
Okay.
I fucking like that.
Yeah,
I took a look at that.
Why do you think he has a dick?
I guess like they were like, maybe they'll check the genitals of our cyborg assassins.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's
in what
true.
situation would it get to the point where they have to check the genitals?
I mean, it sounds like either a porno or a prom at TSA.
How do you think robots figured out how big of a hog to give him?
He had a pretty big one.
It seems like a big hog.
It was like mid-thigh.
Here's the sound it makes.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's some distance on the arc. I think it was more like thwack, 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 thwack.
Like sort of like salmoning back and forth.
Yeah. Did you see it, or were you on your phone at that point in the movie?
I'm usually on my phone. I'm one of these millennials who's addicted to his phone.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You haven't brought out once. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Well, there's, we got a lot of time left to cover here.
Yeah.
But no, okay. So yes, unlike again in the first movie, over time he like churns through costumes and outfits to get to this ultimate form. That when we get,
it's not
to
even
him
that
looking,
much. He like changes jackets.
Well, no, he changes the full outfit. He
keeps the pants. Keeps the shirt. He just changes jackets.
Fucking fine. It's one.
But I mean, that's
jacket.
all I'm saying is
jacket.
He changes jacket and sunglasses, and it's like so small, but it's like
meteoric for the movie. He suddenly looks like the bad guy.
Yeah.
In this movie, they cannot wait to get this stupid shit going so fast that he's already in his main gear within seconds of the movie, and we get the needle drop, which in the first movie is unthinkable.
I know,
and
it's crazy.
Yeah, it goes straight to Bad to the Bone starts playing, and it's like, we already know the character.
Yeah.
We don't need to be told how to feel about him.
And because we saw the trailer, we know he's good to the bone. And he doesn't even have any fucking bones.
He's got metal bones of a skeleton who's metal.
Jesus.
It's not good.
So they're like, either they were really trying to convince us that he was bad, or they were just like, I don't know, it sucked to use that music. Honestly, the music in general sucked.
Yeah.
It was so fucking boring.
Well, and the first movie has a lot of like very minimal electronic stuff that's very eerie and like undercuts like the what's going on with this like dread vibe. And in this, like it's all like
yeah, but not even like that. It's more like the scene where he gets his head smashed is 8 violins playing different notes, and it goes and it just like times with a swing.
It's bad.
So fucking lazy.
This movie is like such a testament to excess where they're like, we got the wisecracking kid. We got the Terminator saying wisecracks too. Linda Hamilton screaming her fucking head off. Yeah, it's like, this sucks. Like,
and we are going to save the last 10 minutes of this about the new Terminator too. Don't forget, we haven't forgotten about that guy.
Yeah, we'll get to you, buddy.
Yeah.
Do you think about it? Because so first off, in this movie, we do get a "I'll be back" and he repeats a couple lines.
Yeah,
right?
he says, "Come with me if you want to live."
Right. He steals Kyle Reese's line.
He says, "I've got a bad feeling about this for some reason."
Yeah, which you are legally required to say in movies.
He says, "We're gonna have a really nice friendship pretty soon.
You and I, little buddy, we're going to be the best of friends."
I see this as the beginning of a. Sorry.
Was that Einstein for a minute?
Yeah, that's my Einstein, my classic Einstein.
A beloved character.
You and me, we have this start to a beautiful friend. That's French.
That's
Why
really
keep
bad.
going?
Just stop talking.
All right.
Okay, I'll talk about bad moments in the movie. I think the worst, the absolute low point in the movie, in my mind. I want to hear your thoughts on this. They go back to Mexico to get Sarah Connor's stash of weapons from a tequila drinking Mexican man.
Wow.
Which is like, come on, right? I guess it was the 90s. Like, people were that fine with like, hey, we got a Mexican in the movie. Is he swigging tequila out of the bottle like a fucking 40s movie? Yeah, he sure is.
Yeah.
But no, so she sees, this horrible relationship looming between her son / future resistance leader and a robot who spouts platitudes now and wants to cry or something, which sucks. And she's like, of all the father figures who could have entered John's life, this robot assassin was the greatest father of them all. And it's like, this is
you missed the great part.
What?
He'll never be late from work. He'll never beat his child. He'll never set the house on fire. He'll just be a good boy.
Right. The murderous robot who they programmed to say, "Cowabunga, dude," or whatever. It's fucking dumb.
He's not like every other man that makes nuclear bombs and shoots people.
That observation from her tells us nothing about the movie that we cannot see with our eyes. It tells us nothing about her character other than that, like, she's had a bad experience with men, which
we've
again,
been told.
I think we get.
We've been told at least 3 scenes.
But more importantly, we're shown
about
that
her boyfriends.
Men treat her like shit.
Yes.
Because then her idiot son is like, oh, she was shacking up with the Green Beret for a while before this other guy used to beat her. And
there's another scene where he said the same thing.
Why don't we see any of these things? Because instead of these stupid ass give us a montage at the beginning of like intercut between experiences in the future and the present. Like, there's so many creative ways
I don't even
to tell
think that would
story.
work. I think just get rid of it.
Maybe, yeah.
Like, why does she need to be learning from men how to use guns?
Right, it's fucked up. Also,
it's stupid.
They like the amount of it's not like full torture porn or full like Tarantino or Roth or whatever, but like when she gets face licked by the pervy attendant and stuff, it's like, how much more does she have to suffer? We get it.
Yeah.
And like I think that too is like she's defined at a certain point by this like spiral of trauma that it's already very fucking fucked up at the beginning of the movie. She's in a psych ward. She survived that whole thing. But they'd work in more and more things to explain her emotions, which we don't need that.
Yeah. And I think I want to also say this. The plot of this movie is bad. It's boring. It's at the end of it, you can describe, like, the first one is also very small. It's robot and non-robot come back to the future to
to take the same girl to prom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of them wins.
You better believe it. I'll give you a hint. Kyle Reese.
That's the hint. It's the name of the person.
Do you think after sex he was like, Terminators don't have sex?
Yeah. I got this dick, but it's always flaccid.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could cram it in there.
Yeah, you could try.
Probably come.
I don't know what you think we're talking about, but I like wherever this is going.
I wanted to say that the plot of this movie is scattered. The pacing is bad. And at the heart of it, it's about these 3 characters that suddenly all meet up and do like a Fast Five thing with no one around. They like break into a building where there's 2 guards and that's it, and then plant some explosives and leave.
Okay, and also this is something you pointed out that I thought I didn't realize until now. Okay, so the whole thing is like John Connor's like, jeepers, Terminator, you can't kill anybody or do anything cool from the first movie or be the same character in any capacity. So the whole thing is like, he doesn't kill people anymore. He just shoots them in the knee. Like, oh,
that's all he does.
Amazing. So there's a scene where he goes out and it's very famous and he like mows down all the cop cars and blows them up with grenades. And it's like human fatalities, 0. Then all the cops start shooting at him like nothing and it just happened.
Cool.
So the entire dumbass little scenes that he's learned a lesson from John, which is like, we get. Like,
I don't even know what the lesson is. John's like, you can't kill anyone. And then Terminator goes,
okie dokie, little buddy.
No, he says, why?
Cheesy piece, why?
And then he goes, you just can't. And then he goes,
why?
And then he goes, you just can't.
It's terrible. Like, my question is like, people already liked the Terminator as like a menacing, horrifying, iconic villain. Like no one would ever look at Darth Vader. Like there were efforts, if you'll excuse me, to talk about Star Wars for a moment here.
That's all right.
Sorry, please. I know. Please,
That's fine.
please.
That's
Put your
fine.
pants
Just
back on. Put your pants back on. Leave
quick.
them off.
Be quick.
Okay, so that series like tries to bring humanity to that character and to like underpin what he's doing with some sort of sense of like gravitas. In this movie, it's like, no, what if he literally was just a nice, funny guy who happened to be the Terminator? And it's like, who wanted that? You're gonna watch these two movies and tell me that he's cooler in the second movie because he says like, shit, fuck dicks.
Yeah, this is up your ass, dipshit.
Time to skedaddle.
Oh,
it's terrible.
What kind of motorcycle is that?
If you can look me in the eye and tell me that you like sci-fi movies and think that this is an improvement in any capacity, you're a fucking idiot, and I will fight you in court.
In court? I'll fight you on the playground.
Really?
Yeah.
The flaming one?
No. Oh no, that one. I hated that one.
No good.
No, that movie. What did I say? This movie should have been 90 minutes of. Oh yeah, of her just smoking a cigarette.
The best parts of the movie are her like furiously smoking and doing all of her face acting, which I love.
Yeah, and this we can go back to Lyndall for a second. I think she gets a lot of credit for acting because she has arm muscles that are prominent, and she dresses in clothes that make her look cool, and she smokes.
She does look super cool.
She just looks really cool,
Yeah,
and like
true.
she's not a very good actor. She just looks cool.
I like her in the role. I'm not going to rehash.
Yeah, we're not gonna.
this
But
all
I'm just
night.
saying, like that came to mind. Like she's easily just. She's like she has moments where she's like, wow, she looks cool. Like yeah, that's fucking awesome. She's a cool character, and it's like wait, no, she says one thing. I'm like, oh, this character fucking sucks, but she looks really cool.
It's true. We can't take it away. She looks awesome. Lots of bandoliers and gear and stuff. And I don't know. So another major character introduced in the movie is the Joe Morton character, Miles. What's his last name?
I don't know. You
Dyson. Miles
fucking talk
Dyson.
to him
Miles Dyson.
in real life.
He's my close personal friend, Joe Morton, the actor. I interviewed him once. It was cool. That's my boast.
It's a good boast. I've never fucking.
You haven't done shit.
I haven't done
You've
shit.
done shit.
No.
I met Joe Morton. The fuck did you do?
Fuck. Wait. Oh, that's right. I sold a Kit Kat to
Hey,
Charlie Kaufman. Remember that one? Remember that story?
It's a chestnut. Tell it again.
I sold. He came up. I sold him a Kit Kat.
And what movies did he do?
He did Eternal Sunshine. He wrote
He
that.
sure
one.
did. Yeah.
He wrote Into the Minds of the John Man.
Yep. And the John Man.
Yep.
And that night, what would he have done without you to sell him a Kit Kat?
Probably killed himself.
I mean, honestly, many of his movies feature that suicidal ideation.
I saw Annalisa.
Uh-huh.
Did you see that one? The
I did
animated
not.
movie. Amazing.
Okay.
I thought it wasn't really going anywhere. It's amazing. It's just as good as Schenectady, New York.
I've never seen it. It's my claim to shame. I got to see it.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
I know.
Wow, it's really great.
Okay. Because yeah, so Miles Dyson, he's the guy who we're told invented Skynet, which we've just learned about.
But he didn't because he just fucking stole it all from the future.
Right, which is also lame. And so then rather than kill him in front of his family, Linda Hamilton breaks down. The Terminator and John show up to be mopey and irritating, and they decide to go to Skynet. So the movie, again, it's a very simplistic plot that feels clunky and long.
It's so dumb.
It's not exciting. The fight scenes fucking suck.
They suck.
I would say I like the chase, the legendary
But
truck.
can we
motorcycle
linger
chase.
on that scene where she goes to kill him? Because I think that's really important.
Yeah, get into it.
It's like a 10-minute sequence. First of all, there's like thousands of people. There's a lot of people that work at Cyberdyne, whatever it's called, Skynet, Cyber. I don't know the difference. I don't know what they are. There's lots of people that work there. Killing one man that has just stolen stuff from the future isn't going to do shit.
Well, that's why they go to the headquarters to demolish.
I know,
the main
but like
stuff. But
even
yes.
that as an idea, she's smart. She should know that he's not the thing that's actually the problem. It's the research and the thing that they have in front of them.
Right, because they reduce her to like a hysterical mother, where she drives off like abruptly and impulsively to go do this stupid mission that's not going to solve any problems. It sucks.
Yeah, and then
she's been training. The whole thing about her being ripped is she's like training every day for the apocalypse. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And then like she's gonna blow her shot on some half-ass plan. Like it's disrespectful to her.
Stupid.
And all the shit with like John Connor being like the kid who knows everything. He can like train the Terminator how to love and calm down his hysterical mother. It's like this sucks. Fuck this guy.
Ugh. And then so she points a gun at a father, and she suddenly is like, you know what? I just can't do it. I'm gonna go sit over here and cry. Hug my boy.
They kind of give her all the
fucking
trauma
garbage.
of Kyle Reese, but like they take away all of her autonomy that makes her so interesting. And that whole transformation we saw her make in the first movie into this like caged animal in the second movie just starts to dissipate because like they give her less of like she stops being the main character, and it's a huge loss.
Yeah. I think it's time to start talking about T-1000.
Right. Okay. So all of this is contingent on there being another Terminator.
Right.
Which, by the way, look, I'm not crazy. If you pitch me a Terminator 2, the Terminators fight, sure.
That sounds fun.
It sounds fun. Now, again, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. We've talked to like the first movie. A lot of it's very cold and quiet, and that's what makes it work so well. So these moments of violence are really astonishing and like breathtaking. And this movie has some of that. You know, he's another like he has no personality at all.
Yeah.
Even less, I would argue, than Arnie in T1. And the parts where his hands turn into swords and he stabs people in the face, that shit's cool. Like in the foster parent scene where he stabs the guy through the milk box.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But one, he is so affectless that he's just as like, he's as impossible to get an impression of as the very Quicksilver he's made of.
I would say the biggest problem with him is that he is absent from the film for 40 minutes.
It's crazy.
He is gone.
In the back half of the movie, he just is not there to get in the way of the plot because they can't figure out a way to tell a story that's not stupid and simplistic.
Because he's so powerful.
He's just gone for a while.
That it's like in Heroes when they gave Hero like the ability to bend space and time. Then like 3 episodes and they're like, oh shit, you could basically do whatever you wanted. So we'll make sure his powers go away. It's like, wait, this guy can do anything. He can mimic anyone.
Whoops.
He can run really fast and stab you. It's like there's nothing you can do, so we'll just, I don't know. 'Cause in the first one, there's lulls, but you make sure to cut between like them patching themselves up and him fixing his eye.
Yeah.
And like them fucking and him like calling his mom to find out where she's going to be. Like he's always a presence in the movie. Here he's just literally gone. I honestly forgot he was a character.
Did you ever play Resident Evil Nemesis?
No, maybe.
I haven't played a lot of Resident Evil, but as a kid, I would play Nemesis at the Toys R Us in a mall here in Pittsfield.
Yeah, I used to do that sort of stuff too.
That game is sick because like this unkillable villain keeps popping up unexpectedly, and it's really exciting and scary because you know you're not going to be able to beat him, but he keeps reappearing, and so that persistent fear of someone that powerful showing up becomes like a real motivator in the plot.
Yeah.
In this movie, like you said, they write themselves into a corner and to choose to just not mention him for a while, so they can have their side adventure fighting off cops politely or whatever. It's stupid. It's bad storytelling. Like again, the whole premise of the first movie is it's a hunt. And she's being hunted.
Yeah.
In this movie, they're doing a heist. They're reconciling their family. They're like trying to turn him into a human, which of course is stupid.
But they don't focus on anything. I barely even get that they're trying to turn him human.
Yeah.
There's like 3 scenes where he's like, say hasta la vista. And he's like, oh.
Later in the film, I will deliver a full circle on this thing and I will say it, okay.
It's like, I don't get that they're actually, why do humans cry? Like, Jesus Christ, is that?
It's stupid.
Every fucking person is asked that when they're 8 years old. It's like, yeah.
Well, it's just so lazy for him to be like, I cannot feel love. It's like, that's every robot thing. Also, This is a movie coming out in the early 90s when on television, roughly analogous to this, we have Data on Star Trek The Next Generation who grapples with this question in truly a fascinating, immersive, human, compelling, and beautiful story that it's shoehorned in as like, the laziest way we already like the character.
Yeah.
So to go into this great lengths to make him even more like mimetic and like, look at me, I'm spouting the dialogue of the day. It's
look,
like
the boy says this, I say this.
I don't get why we need that.
And don't.
So they both like it's all frosting. There's no meat to his transformation. It means nothing because he's going to die at the end, for now, of course. Also, here's another thing for you. We're already seeing another model of the T-1000 or whatever. We know there's more models. So who gives a shit how much this one maybe kind of understands? It's not even convincing on his part.
No. He was barely around enough to learn like 6 phrases.
Right. So he's paired off against a robot even with even less personality than him. So their fighting is like really joyless and boring.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a real missed opportunity. The ending fight sequence feels endless and is not fun.
So boring. And then like he dies and wait, no, he's not dead. He just like the whole electricity thing from the first movie. That meant he died.
Right.
And this one he gets stabbed through the heart or whatever, and his eye turns off, and all the electricity comes out. And then nope, he's alive.
Right. They cut to a thing in his eye where we see alternate power source. He's fine again. And it's like, what the fuck?
That sucks.
It's just a kind of laziness where it's like, given how much fire this movie gets, given how it's adored by people, watch these movies back to back. I like if you really think I fucking
We fucking dare you.
Both I and my co-host and friend Charles fucking dare
and if
you.
you like this second one more than the first one, or if you like it at all,
you can take the metal box release of this film and shove it up your keister hole.
yeah, right up there. The fucking worst way.
Yeah, and guess what? It's
Spine
long
waves.
and there's corners.
Not bottom or top.
No, bottom or
spine.
top because there's more corners.
No, you can do it spine because it's way longer.
But it's
That'd
going to
be
hurt more trying to get the corner in.
Either way.
Okay, just do it.
Yeah.
You fucking dummy.
Talking about building this character into a corner so you couldn't actually use him. He stabs her in the elevator in like the first scene. So he's touched her. He can mimic her anytime he wants. Yet he chooses to stab her in the shoulder and ask her to ask for help to lure John Connor.
But so they're standing by. Like, this is an inexplicable plot point, which drove us both crazy.
I mean, it could have been cool if he had done it without that other part because he'd already touched her.
Okay, so no, let's explain this a little bit more.
Yeah,
okay,
you
so
go. I'm bad at
basically,
explaining.
we're at the end of the movie in the foundry or whatever where they're fighting another convenient industrial
Wow.
location that's identical to the end of the first film.
Though the problem is I have, like, in this one, in the first one, they showed you the crunching box. They showed you all the stairs and like, oh, we looped around and now I just go through here to get back to the crunching box. I knew exactly where they were. They made me the maze and I knew what it was. Here it's just like a hall of mirrors where they could just pop out anywhere. I don't know where anything is.
So when he does pop out, and this is so inexplicable to me and so lazy, he pretends to be wounded Linda Hamilton. She's like, come to me, son, come to me. And he's like, Mom. And then the real one shows up and shoots him away.
3 seconds pass.
Why would he go through a weird like song and dance thing when he has the kid right there? He has sword arms. He could kill him. That's his only mission is to kill this fucking dumbass
Yeah, he
snot.
could die. He could like pick him up and jump into lava.
Right,
He should not
he
care.
has one perfect opportunity and insists on doing a bit.
Ah.
Like, why? He has so little personality that we actually pick up from him that what would motivate this robot to do that?
Well, he uses the voice to lure him out.
Right.
But then, yeah, once he's there, just
stab him.
Just fucking stab him.
You know? I could kill that kid better than that fucking Terminator.
Yeah, that guy sucked at it. Also, he was walking.
Yeah,
why wasn't he running? Why wasn't he running
walking.
around at the end?
He doesn't use guns very much. It's weird.
Because he's all knife boy.
I know, but like...
Remember, they told us very specifically he could become anything that is the same size as him.
And the
or
same
knives.
organic. Okay, again,
Or knives.
This is so fucking shitty. They try to explain the dynamics of the liquid robot killer, which is thankless.
You know what they didn't explain?
What's that?
How the liquid robot killer got through the time machine.
Right. Okay. It
Which
makes no
I was
sense
curious about.
because they say like you can only do organic matter, not objects, like a pack of cigarettes, and yet later in the movie does objects.
But
Like,
also,
on the floor, is he a puddle of water? Is he the floor itself?
he's the floor itself.
But that's not organic. That's a fucking floor.
Yeah.
So why can't he be a pack of cigarettes but can be the floor?
Well, I think he could be a giant pack of cigarettes. I just don't know, but I think he could be. I think he could be a giant scrotum.
We can dream, right?
I was hoping he'd become a giant scrotum. He could be a very small building,
Sure.
as long as it's roughly
Maybe
the
a
size
Ferrari.
a normal, adult human man.
Here's the point. Do you know how you could solve this problem? Don't explain the dumb rules that you're going to break almost immediately. Just don't even bring them up.
Yes,
No one needs to hear the rules.
that would have saved a lot of this movie. Is if you just stopped talking about everything that's going on in front of my fucking eyes.
Right, we get these a liquid killing machine. That's
Yeah.
cool. Just let it be cool without trying to explain the rules of it, which no one needs. And you discard very rapidly.
So this is why I think Cameron had very little involvement in the first film.
I don't think this is
I don't
pure
understand
speculation.
but I just don't understand based on his entire oeuvre.
That's
I haven't seen
French for eggs.
Yeah, I haven't seen Piranhas too,
Sure.
but I've seen, I think, every single other movie he's made, and they're all like Terminator 2.
Well, I think
None of them are like Terminator.
He comes from this world of like, hacky B movies that are really fun and really full of texture and weirdness. He gets that checkbook to do whatever he wants, and he just starts swinging for the fences on everything.
It could just be a money thing because this was $100 and something million.
This was
budget.
okay. So actually, I'm happy you brought that up. Much like At World's End, our zaniest film we've covered so far, that was a $300 million movie in 2007, I believe, and that was like the most expensive movie
crazy.
ever made at the time. This in 1991 at $102 million.
That's also crazy.
Was the most expensive film ever made at that point in history.
Yeah. So maybe if he had $100 million for the first Terminator,
it would suck.
It would suck.
But I think you're dead right. There's so much that just does not need to be in this. There's so many missed opportunities. Again, like it's weird to get older and look back on how this is venerated. It is the ultimate popcorn movie. I get that. It's a no work movie. Like, you know, if you're just sitting there with your jaw slacked open, ramming fucking gummy bears into it, which by the way, it can be fun.
It can't be fun. Not like this.
Yeah.
I really don't think. I mean, yeah,
it's
sure.
genuinely
You know
insulting what they do to this character.
Yeah, if you enjoy being insulted or are too, I don't even know what the word is. I don't know what the adjective is that for someone who enjoys this. I'd love to hear why. If you watch this movie and disagree, tell us what we missed. If you agree with us and still like it, I just don't understand why you would ever watch this. I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's watered down. It's boring. The characters they add to it add very little to the original story.
It's propagandistic. It's just
honestly,
like
it gets so confusing. And okay, you use propagandistic here. We talked a lot about in the first movie how the representation of violence is like upsetting. It's like really vile. The things we see are not okay.
No, we watch a man take an eye out of his head. We see people just get like stabbed. It's like really upsetting violence.
The
it's
idea
not cool.
is that like this vortex of male violence can spin the universe off into a point of no return where violence is the only currency, and Kyle Reese can't even get laid in the future because all of his friends and potential sex partners are being killed by robots.
Yeah, that
in
sucks.
this movie, it's like, what if the violence was kind of cheeky and there's some cute parts to it, and some of it's very serious, but some of it's a little sillier because he's our friend now.
And also, what if he just had big explosions for no reason? Like this car scene where he blows up all the cop cars.
Yeah.
Looked cool, I guess.
Sure.
But it had no effect on the plot.
Well, then it's followed by so many other massive explosions where at a certain point, it's the classic thing of diminishing return where there's so many explosions, and because people keep surviving them and thriving after them, we trust them less and less. And it's a bummer. I think the beauty of like a Die Hard, a movie we'll, obviously cover at some point in the podcast. By the time we get to like the really big explosion, it's fucking crazy. And it happens late in the movie, and it really feels like it has a weight to it. And in this movie, at a certain point, there's so much going on that it all just sounds like the same fucking cacophony.
It sucks. It's all, but also it's just like it doesn't seem to make sense. If you're making a movie about male violence, the first one made male violence upsetting, in the way that Refn talks about male violence, and it's always upsetting. He makes very cool looking movies, but it's always like the violence is not fun to watch. Here it's like he's making a movie about male violence and very explicitly having characters talk about it, and yet he's making a movie that like glorifies male violence and makes it look pretty.
Yeah, and also
very confusing.
By having a Terminator be a good guy doing ultra-violent things, it completely fucking upends the entire premise.
Right.
It's not cool. Also, it's not a funny movie.
No.
It's not charming. Again, like Edward Furlong is legit terrible in this, and I feel bad for him because they gave him way too much dialogue.
I don't feel bad for him. As I've said with fuck Michael Caine, if you're not prepared for the role, don't do it.
Like if you can honestly watch this and say it aged well, I don't.
It's never been good.
No,
it's never been good. People were not. I don't know what
they're like. What if Bart Simpson was in this shit? And it's like, well, that sounds dumb.
The guy from Salute Your Shorts was in it. He was great. The guy with the giant red mullet.
Oh yeah.
He's fucking ruled. He should have been John Connor. I would have believed that. This is like fucking smarmy, lazy slacker.
Punk buddy.
Yeah.
That was
he was
cool.
great. And he like stood up for him too. That was a nice little scene. It's
like,
no, I haven't seen him. Hey John, there's a cop over there.
You gotta get out of here.
Oh, by the way, I saw him. It was great.
Shut up, you kid.
That was the wrong cop, but I liked it.
I'm just imagining like we lose so much.
Also, the main T-1000 has no that's the thing with Arnie, is that in the first one, there's not much of a personality, but there's a presence. And this, the T-1000, I can't do an imitation of him.
He's so mild and boring.
Yeah.
He's like, I am your friend now and your dad figure. Hello.
Oh, and I mean the T-1000.
Oh, the new guy.
Has like zero, he's just nothing. He's very menacing, but I can't actually, I could probably have a dream where I could imagine like a hulking T-101.
Sure, yeah.
Because that thing's, this is just like a smarmy looking cop. And yeah, I guess I have dreams about smarmy looking cops doing bad things too, but this guy sucked. He was like nothing.
Yeah.
Could have put in anything. She could have been a giant carrot the whole movie.
Well, I guess it underscored like what a prop he turned out to be. You know? Because again, like the whole premise of the first movies is so much hinges on such a fragile situation. So to have this like super villain who it just sucks. It's just a placeholder.
Yeah.
It's a no good. So
I think it's maybe about that time to ask, when will it end?
I honestly am at that point where it's like,
Yeah.
I have not seen the subsequent 3 films, and it's like, this is a lot to recover from. They've taken a lot of wind out of its sails. It was not fun to watch. I've seen it a million times, and the fact that it's become more of a meme than a movie maybe speaks to its legacy. But yeah, at this point, I'm totally throwing the towel in. Cameron, taking his own intellectual property, that he stole from Harlan Ellison, takes a shit all over it. And now it's like, I don't want another version of Arnie being this fucking flaccid, boring guy who's like bland and sweet or whatever. And like, who's he going to fight now?
Yeah, and I think that's in the third one. I saw them all for some reason. I don't think I saw the most recent one. But I think he plays even more the like goofy, nice robot.
Well, Uncle Bob. Let's just call him Uncle Bob because that's what that fucking idiot John Connor's like. It's my Uncle Bob. Is that funny? It's not.
And
that
then
funny.
he goes, Uncle Bob, and he goes,
I don't know. I'm a little pisser. I chug piss.
What can you get?
I don't know if Edward Furlong has ever chugged piss. I'm just saying. No,
it said it on his Wikipedia page. You just didn't read it
chugged
fully.
Piss. Yeah. There's a whole
There's a whole section.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, so I'm with you. I mean, again, you've seen these and I haven't. If this is the direction they're really like putting all their chips on, and why wouldn't they? This movie was such a huge cultural phenomenon.
Right.
It feels like a lost cause, and that's like a real bummer.
That's the scary thing. I think like when you get to a Pirates 4, it could be easy to throw in the towel, but then you'd miss Pirates 5, which actually turns out to be one of the best in the franchise. But here, if this is like the cultural moment that everyone is going to try to recreate, I mean, Terminator 4 does have the Christian Bale lights monologue, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm very glad that it exists just because of that.
Well, here's what I'm hoping for in the best case scenario. This reminds me of The Spy Who Shagged Me, okay? International Man of Mystery, they established this character and all of his faults and all of his strengths.
Yes.
And then they're like, okay, now we're having a moment. Two's going to be our spiking the football. And this is the ultimate football spike. It's so much more than that. But like, it takes this like cool idea and makes it like so much of a caricature of itself that it's joyless, not fun to watch.
Yeah.
So like they have to recover from that. We needed a gold member where things like if a bad villain is the problem in this, maybe a really good villain in 3 would redeem it somewhat. But I'm already wondering like how many more like sour faced killers with no personality I can watch them churn through.
Jesus. Yeah, I think that's another problem is that a lot of the new Terminators are pretty boring. But I guess we'll find out. Also, we haven't really mentioned that the reason why we're doing this is because there's a new Terminator coming out,
which will feature Edward Furlong.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
And Lyndall.
And
Arnie.
The whole gang's back together,
which is sort of scary,
right? Because this lineup sucks.
Yeah, this is a bad lineup.
Not a great one.
And also, why would you get? But anyway, we are going to release the episode for that movie the Monday after it comes out.
Yeah, so our chips are down on this. We want to see what happens with this franchise. This has been dispiriting because, again, I've seen both 1 and 2 many times, but I haven't seen them back to back in a very long time, and it's just not great. So I don't know. I'm moving forward with great trepidation. I want to see a bigger villain. I want to see more creative locations that are not drenched in blue or happening in industrial parks.
Right.
I want something more character to it. I almost want more lore because the lore we get is so all over the place and spotty that it's hard to follow and uninteresting.
That's what I was going to say. I'm not ready to say when we'll let them because I think the world that they created in 1 is really interesting. And there's so many things you could do with it. And for some reason, this is literally sorry to bring up Star Wars, but A New Hope to Return of the Jedi. It's like the same end location.
Yeah.
They're both just like killing Terminators in factories for some reason. Like, come on, dude.
It's really uncreative.
Yeah. So I'm excited to get some new blood. Cameron's out. I hate Cameron, so I'm glad we're getting some new blood, but we are going to be dealing with the likes of a McG.
Oh my God, McG did one?
Yeah. So
Woof.
I'm not sure we're getting any better people, but they're different.
Devil, maybe? I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess we'll both have to say hasta la vista, baby, to our listeners.
Yeah.
What if he taught Terminator to say, do I make you horny, baby? Like 5 years before that movie.
That'd been crazy.
Do I make you horny,
but
baby?
It's a time travel. They're both time travel movies.
Right.
Who taught who?
Okay, another spinoff. We have Hulk vs. Terminator. Austin Powers meets the Terminator.
They're friends?
They become friends, probably.
Yeah, because then, okay, so
I am on a mission to become Randy.
That's good. Say it more like Arnie.
Teach me to be Randy.
That's good.
I would like to be horny, baby.
You sound like somebody else.
I think a little bit of Werner Herzog.
Yeah,
to date this a little bit, I just watched the Mandalorian trailer.
Okay.
And the second Werner Herzog says, "It is very complicated to be a bounty hunter, is it not?" I was like, oh, great. I'm going to watch all of this.
I'm going to watch this whole thing. Yeah.
I don't care how shitty and Jon Favreau it is.
Yeah, I can't do any impressions anymore. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you've changed.
Do you make me horny, baby?
You were celebrating yourself as the impressions guy.
The impressionator.
Yeah, right.
That was me.
Your claim to fame.
I think I can say, like, I'll be back. I also have this cold. I feel like I'm going to cough.
You have been coughing a lot.
Yeah. But I want the Terminator to get Randy, even though he can't love.
Right.
I bet he can still fuck.
Hey, what better note to leave it on? Send us your Terminator fuck fanfic straight to the pod. We want to hear it.
Yeah.
How Randy can you make the Terminator? Please drop us a line, and please join us next week for Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines.